Hello and welcome to my kitchen and this edition of Here's What's Cooking at Key Chorale. We're excited about our upcoming concerts, January 14 and 15. It's called Choral Splendor in 40 Parts. It's an amazing, unique concert experience, a concert 450 years in the making. I want to share with you why this concert is a once-in-a-lifetime concert experience and why this particular recipe, we're cooking up something unlike any other. So step inside my kitchen and we'll show you how we create this feast for 40 voices. This is your chance to come inside and see just how the sausage is made. Most choral pieces choirs sing are written in 4 or 6 or maybe even 8 parts. But these two featured works were written for 40 individual vocal parts by Italian Alessandro Striggio and Englishman Thomas Tallis. The sheer scale and ambition of these 16th century works remains unparalleled even today. Now our recipe calls for one very special ingredient. That is our guest artist, Les Canards Chantants, an 8-member solo voice ensemble who specialize in the music from this era. Now they say that too many cooks in the kitchen can spoil the broth, but not with this particular recipe.
Well, hello. My name is Robin, this is Graham, and we are the co-directors of Les Canards Chantants. Welcome to our kitchen here at Duck House. We are so looking forward to whipping up some scrumptious Renaissance polyphony with you today.
You may be wondering, what is Les Canards Chantants? We are a solo voice ensemble. That means we're something like a choir, but instead of having multiple voices on each line of music, we only have one singer on each line of music. It's a little bit like the difference between the string section of an orchestra and a string quartet. And we like to sing early music, medieval and Renaissance music 1-2 apart, things like madrigals and motets.
We formed our group when we were studying early music in England and spent several delightful years concertizing there before we winged our way back across the pond and landed in Philadelphia, where we've been based ever since.
And now we are poised to fly south for the winter to Sarasota, Florida, to join Maestro Joe and the Key Chorale to serve up some sumptuous Renaissance polyphony on the grandest scale.
So who are these Renaissance trailblazers? Alessandro Striggio wrote not one, but 2 works for 40 independent voices. He wrote a shorter motet written around 1561 and a large-scale mass in 1565 or 1566. I guess that's what you did back then when you weren't binge-watching Netflix or watching YouTube videos. We'll be performing his Mass for 40 voices for these concerts, but it's amazing to think that this Mass setting was lost for more than 400 years. It was found at the Bibliothèque Nationale in Paris about 20 years ago, but the composer's name was listed incorrectly. Instead of Striggio, it was listed as Strusco. So I guess a case of bad penmanship, and we haven't heard this music for more than 400 years. So how does Striggio construct this Mass for 40 voices? Well, instead of thinking it as 40 individual voice parts, he thinks of it as 5 8-part choirs. It's a very spicy proposition. So you have choir 1, and then you have choir 2. You have choir 3, choir 4, and choir 5. And they work independently sometimes, and sometimes together. There are times when Striggio uses just 1 or 2 voices. Then there are times you hear 3 choirs all at once. And the most glorious moments are when you hear all 5 choirs, over 40 voices, all at one time. These works are about exploring space and sound, having choirs interacting with each other in a surround sound kind of experience. So there are times when you hear all 40 voices. So if you look at the full score here, you'll see all 40 voices joining together saying the words Jesu Christe. And then the choirs act antiphonally. So you hear a block of sound from choir 1, followed by a block of sound from choir 5. Then you hear a block of sound from choir 2, and then choir 4. Then you hear a block of sound from choir 3, and then the rest of the ensemble comes in antiphonally to that. Then you hear again choir 3, and the rest of the choirs respond. And then eventually he saves up those moments for the best moments when all 40 voices come together in an incredible banquet of sound here on the words Jesu Christe. In 1567, Striggio took a tour of notable European cities and took his Mass for 40 parts with him. We assume that he may have met Thomas Tallis while he was in London. Thomas may have even heard a performance of this incredible work, and it spurred him on to create his own composition for 40 individual voice parts, called Spem in Alium, a Latin text from the Book of Judith, which translates to, "Hope in any other, never did I have except in thee, O God of Israel." Tallis considered this his crowning achievement, and it truly is. Now, let's check in to see how Robin and Graham are doing after this message.